All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting the good fight of faith and truth and sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom unto the Akwath, which is the women believer. Shalom unto you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Economic collapse and World War III goes together for you people out there who don't know. So we are in beautiful times. And like I always say, it's a beautiful time to be alive if you are in your right mind. People do not understand what's going on in the earth, and this is why the scriptures say this. Now, I always use this example, right? We receive the truth in this life, and our kingdom is going to come in this life. So from the time that you was a child all the way up until you were an adult, and especially before you came into the truth, you did not know anything about the truth, but the Lord blessed you. He opened your ears. He opened your eyes. So we received all of this in this generation. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord said, when you start to see these signs, know that your salvation is near. So it says, and knowing the time that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay. So if you don't understand, hopefully, Lord willing, the scriptures that I get will make you understand about what's going on, because the mark of the beast, which will follow the economic collapse first, then the mark of the beast. So these things go together. And what America is doing now is basically isolating itself, and it's been isolating itself. So let's get that real quick. And that's just prophecy. They're just doing what they supposed to do. It said, behold, I have made you small among the heathen. You are greatly despised. The pride of your heart have deceived thee, because for a while you've been on top. You've been the top dog. Nobody was able to make war with you. As it say in Revelation 13 and 12, I believe, say it was nobody to make war with the beast. But now the weak saying I'm strong, you still acting like you the big bad wolf, but that's just the Lord hardening your heart, which means that you have a lot of pride in you, because your heart is hardened. You don't see your downfall. It said, the pride of your heart have deceived thee, you that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And the Lord is going to have the nations bring you down. You're light work. Okay, but let's listen up.
Today we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime. We are enforcing a zero leakage approach. There will be no minimal breathing space for the regime to rebuild its capacity to inflict terror against America.
So you see what's happening. All you're doing is pushing these nations closer together. You want to put economic sanctions on Iran, and all that's going to do is push them even closer to Russia. You realize that Russia is not really in the picture. Scriptures that I'm going to show you that Russia is very important in prophecy. But Russia is in the background. The Lord, got the hook in the jaws, but he's not pulling Russia. Not quite yet. But this is leading to these nations getting pushed close together. Because, yes, America is still the top financial dog in the world. And it's supposed to be that way. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Every dollar that you use, once you look on it, you see an ugly Edomite face on it. Okay, so it's their money that everybody is using, Edomite's money. All right, so yes, he could put sanctions on it. Now, another thing too, Russia is a bread basket, so they have enough. They produce enough food to feed their population, and they also, is a country that have a lot of oil too. So they have enough to sustain themselves. That's why the sanctions didn't hurt them. It actually made them more stronger back in the time of the pandemic. But all of this is pushing these nations together. And it's going to isolate America and Israel on an island by themselves.
And the world. The final refuge of this regime is the mistaken conclusion of nations that still finance the Iranian threat in the hopes of evading it. It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity.
See, they're mad because obviously the European Union, they don't really care about this war, so they're not helping. We all know that China and America have close financial ties. They don't really care about this war either. So it looked like America is trying to push everybody's hand to choose a side. And that's beautiful because in the scriptures, they do choose a side. They choose against you. So this is beautiful, man. I love it. But I want to get this real quick because just to show you something real quick. Because I have to prove, the scripture said, prove all things, right? To let you know that the mark of the beast comes before World War III. And as you see, World War III is heating up. So look, it said, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your way, pour out the vials of the wrath of the most pour out your vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth, Satan in the midst. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So right here, the first vow, it's 6 more. Okay, it's letting you know that the first vow, people are gonna have the mark of the beast in them. They're gonna have the RFID chip. But as you continue to read, right, when you go down to the 6th vow, okay. And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great rivers Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east may be prepared. This is World War III. So the first vow, the 6th vow. Okay. Last time I checked, 1 come before 6. So that's just to show you, obviously, everything been revealed to us through the Spirit, but just to prove it through Scripture, that there we go. Okay. Because, the apostles and elders and bishops been saying for years now that the mark of the beast got to come first. And if you do have the Spirit, you recognize why. That's actually because World War III is actually the war that ends all wars. The war is not going to last a long time. It's going to be bombs dropped, okay? And then eventually bombs is going to come over here to America. It's not going to be like World War I, World War II, where it's war for 4 or 5 years. No, the Lord is fast forwarding this. Okay? When the mark of the beast come, it ain't gonna be people walking around in the earth with a microchip for years. So yeah, this is the war to end all wars.
Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use.
So Steve, this wasn't just a warning to Iran. This was a message to the world.
Yeah, look, the friend of our enemy is our enemy, and that's what the Secretary Bessent is saying here. Robert is exactly right that one of the key players here is China. And I was just looking at these statistics this morning, Sandra. Above 80% of the oil that comes out of the Persian Gulf and through the Strait of Hormuz, you know where it goes? It goes to China, India, and Asia.
Which causes problems. See, now you're messing with people's energy. You're messing with people's money. All right. India, Russia, China, They're all in the BRICS. Okay? So the prophets been coining the BRICS confederacy, put it that way, is an economic and military operation. So the BRICS is like their own little form of NATO, and then also all the other so-called Arab tribes have joined the BRICS too. All right. So, like I said, it's literally America and Israel versus everybody else, and they're actually making it that way because, as the scripture says, this is the Lord doing what He want to do because He's in control. Why would you isolate yourself like this? But it's because the pride of his heart have deceived him. It said the king's heart is in the hands of Yahweh as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. A man's goings of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? Okay.
Oh, my point. The reason I bring that up, Sandra, is it's in China's own economic interest to get this system resolved so they can have low energy prices. The question, but of course, we also know the China government will do everything they can to try to wreak havoc on the Trump administration.
So everything is happening the way that the Lord wanted to happen, which is good for us. Yes, hard times is coming. The economy will collapse. The mark of the beast will be implemented. World War III will happen. As you see, everything is leading to the prophecies. You can't get away from prophecies. You can't get around prophecy. This is beautiful. And as we continue, each day that you wake up, you getting closer to the end. So you better seek ye out the Lord while he may be found. So I got two more set of scriptures, So yeah, man, it's beautiful. So this so what they're doing right now, Ezekiel 38 is happening because, like I said, if by putting these sanctions on them, it's going to even make it even more, at the end of the day, this is why Russia is the big brother. This is why Russia is not affected. This is why Russia is in the background. The Lord is very strategic. He is the master chess player. All right. All they're going to do, as the scripture said, is going to run to Russia, and Russia going to be a guard unto him. So it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth with all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is India, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Elamites, okay? Elamites, okay? Ethiopia, which is Ishmael, because they took over that land. Libya. See, this would be African nations, even though there are African nations there. All right. So you could really say African and Ishmael is in these lands right now. Okay. Ham will get involved. Because remember, this is World War III. So you got Ishmael predominantly in Ethiopia and Libya, which is so-called Arabs. With them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, all his bands, the house of Torgamar, the north quarters, all his bands, and many people with it. This is all regions in Turkey. Okay? Turkey been in the news too. Israel talking about going to war with Turkey. See how everything is lining up? The puzzle is being perfectly fitted together. So it said, be thou prepared and prepare for yourself, you and all your company that are assembled unto thee. All this is doing is pushing these nations together and isolating them on the island by themselves. And be thou a guard unto them. All right. And so this is the end game of America. I just try to make my video straight to the point, Lord willing, you got some understanding. It was edifying. And it says how much, so this is the end. This is what's going to happen in Babylon the Great. Like I always say, the victory is already written. The destruction is already written. The elect is already written, which we hope to be a part of. All right. We just have to get to the end of the movie. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and she'll see no sorrow. That's why I started off with Obadiah. The pride of your heart have deceived thee. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. This is all the judgment of the Lord. All judgment come from the Lord. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And I always think about this because the Lord said in Revelation 17:16, or it could be 17:17, it said that he had put it in their heart to fulfill his will and to burn her with fire. So the Lord is going to put an evil thought in these nations' heart. Okay? Now, but look at the scripture though. After they press the button, that trance that the Lord had on them, they gonna be like, damn, what the hell we do? So it says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour her judgment has come. So imagine that. This is why you don't want to play games with Yahweh Bashem Shai. This should also make you fear, because you can do things and then in the next minute be like, oh my God, what the hell I do? Because the Lord put it in your heart to do it. You're going to do his will. All right. But yeah, man. So all of this is beautiful. All of this is pushing America and Israel on the island by themselves and pushing all the other nations together. We're going to see how this play out in the next coming weeks, next coming months. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Seek ye out the Lord while he may be found. And Shalom.